Hey everybody, I'm back here on YouTube. I know it's been a while. A lot of stuff has gone on. Uh, the last time I did any video, I believe it was about the president being acquitted. A lot's happened since then. Obviously, we have this COVID-19 coronavirus deal going on right now. My thoughts and prayers are with everyone who has experienced any form of loss in your family. My condolences. I have friends of mine that have contracted it, and thankfully they've recovered. But I know for many people, you have lost loved ones. So once again, my condolences. A lot of crazy stuff going on right now in our country. A lot of crazy stuff. Uh, Look at these government lockdowns. See our economy shutting down, and obviously I understand why we've taken some of the measures that we've taken, but there are other things that I don't understand, that I don't get, especially with governors like Gavin Newsom shutting everything down, including church services. Uh, it's amazing to me because these governors are supposed to protect and defend the Constitution. Gavin Newsom does not have the constitutional right. The same with any of these governors. They do not have the constitutional right to tell churches that they have to shut down. There is separation of church and state. And the definition of separation in church and state is that the church is not to be controlled by the state. Not that you can't talk about God in the White House, or you can't talk about Christianity in Congress. No, it's that the church is not to be controlled by the state. The state does not control what the church does. So if churches decide to assemble, that is the church's decision. It is not Gavin Newsom's decision. And we've seen a lot of dictatorial actions taken by the progressive left. We see across the board where the Democrats just want to keep things closed. It's a huge issue we're having. There's a whole lot of talk, but people don't want to actually come. They don't want to actually answer the difficult questions that need to be asked. And this is something that I look at, something that Ben Shapiro has been saying for a while. What if there are no good answers here? We keep saying, well, when we get a vaccine, what if we don't get a vaccine? Well, let's keep the schools shut down. Kids have a lower risk of dying of COVID-19 than the seasonal flu. We don't shut down the school system because of the seasonal flu, so why are we going to shut it down because of COVID-19? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Until you stop and really dig in and you see there really is a bigger agenda here. There's a bigger agenda here. See, the science only applies when it supports what people on the left want. As soon as it's something that could benefit Donald Trump and his re-election, the Democrats immediately shut it down. I look at the whole police brutality situation. Obviously, we know about what happened with George Floyd and what Derek Chauvin did. Derek Chauvin needs to be held accountable for what he did. What he did was murder. And there's a universal consensus about this. But all the rioting, all the looting, and the media's obsession with equating protests with rioting, it's very disgusting. You see all these headlines. Oh, Donald Trump's, the federal government are arresting protesters in Portland. These are not protesters. These are violent rioters and looters that are hurting the people. I have family that lives in Oregon. They tell me about what's going on in Portland. Portland is a madhouse right now. This is not protest. These people are violent. They are hurting people, setting fireworks off in the street. It is madness. And if the mayor of Portland is not going to take control of the city, then it comes to a point where the federal government has to step in. Because if the mayor and the governor will not step in and defend the citizens of Portland, it becomes a federal issue. Donald Trump has tried his best to stay out of it, but it's getting to a point now where these Democrat leaders are not putting their people first. They are not putting their citizens first. And it's all in the name of, people protesting police brutality. What does that have to do with law-abiding citizens living in fear every day because rioters want to take control of the city. Got all these people busting into all these buildings, destroying public property, ripping down statues in the name of police brutality. Anybody knows how fast this thing turned from Derek Chauvin and George Floyd to defund the police to systemic racism to now rip down the whole system, burn the flag, destroy everything about America because it's all rooted in racism, hatred, and bigotry. You see how fast the progressive left has shifted the narrative toward, well, it wasn't just what Derek Chauvin did that was wrong. Once again, we still don't have the information that shows that Derek Chauvin himself was actually racist. People have jumped on this racist narrative. Oh, he killed George Floyd because he was racist. Do you have any evidence of him saying anything racist? Do you have any evidence of this guy going out of the way to oppress black people, to oppress minorities? Any racial slurs that were dropped? Do we have evidence of that? Or could it just be that Derek Chauvin was a bad guy, did a bad thing, and as a result of the bad thing that he did, because he was a jerk, it can't be that because he did something bad, because he just wasn't a good person, it resulted in the death of George Floyd, who was a black man. And once again, I'm on the side here with Candace Owens, where what happened to George Floyd was wrong. But I don't understand the praise that the black community has heaped on George Floyd. George Floyd spent more of his life oppressing the black community than he did helping it. It doesn't mean he should have died. He shouldn't have died. Wrong is wrong. We can acknowledge that what Derek Chauvin did was wrong without jumping on this bandwagon of George Floyd is a hero. So therefore, we need to start destroying communities, we need to start rioting and looting because we demand justice. Justice for who, exactly? What kind of justice are we looking for? The man who did this is being held accountable. That's justice. Tearing down the system, which no one wants to even explain clearly what the system is. Just the system this, man, the system that. Systemic racism. Systemic racism is a cop-out. It's a massive cop-out. You need to show me policies and laws that are on the books right now that are racist in intent. And when you show me those laws, I want to fight them with you. I hate racism. Racism is horrible. It's disgusting. It nearly destroyed this. It nearly destroyed this country. Nearly tore this country apart. Well, it did tear this country apart. Civil War, hundreds of thousands of men died as a result of the Civil War. There is universal consensus in this country that racism is wrong and that we want to fight it. But you can't just keep pointing at some systemic boogeyman and no one knows what you're pointing at. It doesn't fix anything. It just leaves things fractured. It leaves people angry. It leaves people internalizing victimhood. When you teach people that they're either victims or oppressors, you dehumanize them. There's too much dehumanizing going on in our country right now. We need to be able to point out what is good, and we need to be able to point out what is bad. Fighting hatred with hatred, labeling everyone you disagree with a racist, and going out of your way to harm people who disagree with you. These are bad things. You want to fight racism? Show kindness toward others. Work on yourself. Improve who you are as an individual. And for those of us who are professing believers, let the Lord work in your life, work in your heart, and show you where you need to improve as an individual. Before you want to point out society's flaws, focus on your own and improve those flaws. Because our country will not get better until people start looking in the mirror. When you look in the mirror and you start to live out what it is you say you want others to live out, when you live it out for yourself, that is when we'll start to see an improvement in our country. That's all I got for the day, though, guys. Not going to take much longer, but it's good to be back on here. If you like this video, go ahead and click the like button. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be pumping out a lot more videos as we get closer to the election. See ya.